Welcome to another episode of Ruff Talk VR, a weekly podcast with in-depth game reviews, exclusive developer interviews, and the latest MetaQuest and virtual reality news. We join our hosts, the father-son team of D. Scruffles and Stratus today, as they spend another episode breaking down and discussing the world of virtual reality.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today we're joining you with a very rare remote episode, but unfortunately we don't control the weather.
Thank you, Mother Nature.
Yeah, in New England we're getting hit with our first real good snowstorm of the season. We've had a couple dustings, but not like this.
No, I woke. It's funny because I woke up this morning and I was actually like, oh,
"That's
this was it. This is the hype."
Yeah, 100%. So. No,
and then I kept watching the news and they're like, "Oh yeah, there'll be some more coming." But Boston has like nothing. New York City has nothing.
I think more's coming now than overnight. Like as we're recording right now.
Oh,
it's
definitely.
Like
I'm facing an open door here.
Yeah, I'm looking out my window right now too.
I'm like, damn. I think this morning we had almost 7 out here.
Yeah, and now it's coming down Hail Mary style. So, I mean, I'm very glad you didn't drive.
Remote it is, because I ain't dying for the show, you
know. We love to record in person and all, but, we want to do another episode next week, and
I'll probably be doing it from the side of the road, freezing to death.
Using the iPhone mic. So,
my only call I can make for my battery, and I call into here.
To do the podcast, call in on Zoom, mobile, or something like that.
Call for help.
Or do I finish the episode
done, right?
No, so remote it is, and the original intention was to announce the winners of our 2023 VR awards. However, that's something we feel that we should record in person. So pivot, we're hitting with a news episode, and next week will be our award show. Pivot. Sometimes we got to adjust on the fly. The producer Reggie, he made the final decision. He said, "Hold on, awards have to be in person." So that'll be fun. That'll be next week. Give another week.
Thought I was coming.
And you know what? Something that we didn't have set last week that we posted in our Discord server and post the conclusion of the episode last week was a little Google form to fill out who you think should win each category of our award show. So I'll post that link in our show notes. You can also find it in our Discord. If you want to vote, it doesn't dictate the final vote at all. There's no guarantee if this person wins on the community vote that they're going to win the award. But I will say, even in our discussions of who's going to win, it's something we have looked at, though, So if you want to let your input and your thoughts be known, go fill out that form of who you think should win each category. And it's been a couple weeks since we did some news, so it's been a little slower, so it was appropriate to do the awards and stuff the last couple weeks, but at least we've built up enough to do a fun news episode today. And it kicks off, I think it's appropriate to say this month's Quest Plus games that you get for free if you're a subscriber there, which is cool. A lot of Quest 3 owners, they got 6 months with their Quest 3. So this month is Richie's Plank Experience and a game that we referenced last week, Knock. I love Knock. That's a hugely underrated one.
I've come to realize it's going to be 6 months before I get something I don't own.
It might be longer, dude. We have a huge
but I'll still
games.
Support the cause even after the 6 months, But I think the reality is that I might not ever get something I don't own.
Well, think of it. Think of how many games that we have at this point, how many total apps. So, I mean, they got to dig deep to get something that we don't have. So I kind of look at us as a little bit more of the extreme outlier in terms of total apps owned and stuff like that. But Richie's Plank, that's a good one for new VR headset owners. That's probably the best time to experience that, or if you're showing it to people. And then Knock's a great VR sport game. So that soccer one where you kind of ski around, bounce off the walls,
jump
high
to the
skill
ceiling.
level. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. But great team play. So I mean, when we were going at it pretty hard for a while, who played with us? Was it Caleb or?
I think so. One of our friends.
Was it? I can't even remember. But yeah, we were doing pretty good.
And you do the
starting to
bow
get,
and
like-
arrow in it too.
Oh yeah, I forgot
That's
all
right
about
up your
that.
that's right up your cup of tea. You're really good with a bow and arrow, but I mean, again, easy game to learn, but very high skill ceiling. So if you haven't downloaded your Quest Plus games yet, Nox a great one for this month.
And brilliant, and I'm starting to think they planned it this way, was they knew they were selling headsets for the holiday. So
Yep. No, they're
why
not.
not
They're
drop
not foolish
Richie's
at all.
Plank is probably the perfect thing for, better than some roller coaster game that you might stumble on like I did and go, oh shit, this was not the best move to make. But Richie's Plank, and especially that first time user, you'll have those. You don't have your VR legs yet, so it'll be all that true shaky feeling.
I can't say this enough. If you're a new Quest 3 or a new Quest user, a new VR user in general, your best experiences to hop into are low movement experiences or room scale experiences such as Job Simulator, I Expect You to Die, things with low motion. Demio.
I Expect You to Die would be perfect.
That's a great first one.
Demio would be perfect.
I don't know if I would.
Walkabout's not bad because there is no unless you choose to fly around, I just couldn't see there really being an issue.
We say it all the time. We don't like to put down games. If a game's not good, we just won't talk about it. So by no means am I saying that this is a bad game. It's actually a really good game for what it is, but a lot of people that are new in VR because it's a free app have fallen victim to the epic roller coasters trap, yourself included when we originally started.
Oh, yeah.
So that a game like that, even though it's free, I would avoid it as a new VR user until you really get your legs under you. And
but
if
you know
what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you go into an app like that, a game like that with high motion, and you get some motion sickness, take a break right away the second you feel it. And just know that that's not a thing of VR in general. It's just, you really have to get your legs under you. It's like the first time you go out on a boat, you don't want to go out on a stormy day or anything like that, right? So avoid an app like Epic Roller Coasters. Go with something a lot more room scale or room movement or like low movement. But what were you going to say as well?
I was going to say the worst part is I think you gravitate towards experiences like that when you're new because they're relatable. So you can compare it. Like, for the most part, everyone knows what it's like to be on a roller coaster. So and I'm not going to lie, it is a fantastic experience. That's the other thing. It's just, there's so much going on that you're not just looking straight ahead. And in defense of them, I did it more than once in a row. Even after starting to feel, I was like, well, I'll do it. I think I did 3 times or some shit. And then I found they had a setting for if you were feeling motion, but at this point it's too late. So normally you should do something if you don't feel good, probably stop that in there, not be like, oh, I'll finish it and then I'll try it again with a different, but the experience itself is actually really good. They do a good job. You'll find yourself leaning and looking all around. So
exactly what you said. I referenced it before too, and that's the big thing is if you start to feel the motion sickness, boom, take a break. Don't push through it. Don't be a warrior. There's no point. And I love that you said that too because it's something I want to be very clear about. It's not a bad app by any means. It's a good VR experience. Just make sure you got your legs under you.
And it just makes me wonder when they come out with like the roller coaster. Or not roller, but the theme park simulators, which inevitably will come out. And, you build all the rides and you can actually ride these rides in first person. It's going to be all cute when you're on the carousel and shit. But then when you're building these super coasters that, clearly in their ratings even say it's got like a high puke factor, which one of the simulators I play, it does that. It tells you what level of people will get sick. So you'll gravitate towards those because they're the most extreme. You're going to have the most fun. You're going to be the most scared, and you have the most chance of getting ill.
As long as you know what you're getting into. 2 more really good, new VR experiences: Walkabout Mini Golf, Golf Plus. Those type of experiences.
Yeah, Golf Plus is ideal too because again, it's relatable for a lot of people. They have golfed, so they can go, okay, I know what it's like to stand outside and swing a club and hit a ball. Yeah. For the ultimate, though, you got to put a fan on for Golf Plus.
Another
just
good
to
one.
have that breeze.
I stand by it. Vader Immortal still holds up as a new VR user to hop into and get this nice cinematic Star Wars experience.
Dude, look at that store now. There's so many. If we were to compile a list of like truly like, how big do you think it would be?
Of
30,
what, like
40.
good new
Good
VR
first time
experiences?
games.
Yeah, this is something we're just
experiences.
ad-libbing. This wasn't on the list to talk about.
No,
We're
it's
just
like probably
vibing. So
30 plus things easily.
that would be a fun episode.
I mean, dude,
do that.
Loco Dojo.
Loco Dojo is another great one. Thrill
That'd
of
be
the
a
Fight
fun-
because it's room scale. Room scale
Yeah,
experience.
but
is
I could
100%.
I could see someone possibly getting motion sick with fighting games.
The mixed reality now, I think, is a
game changer. Yeah,
I'm thinking of what I went into because Thrill of the Fight was one of the first ones I did, and I had no.
Yeah, I have no
Beat
issue.
Saber, the
Beat Saber
rhythm
is
games, Ragnarok, those would all be good. But we got to put
Smash
down.
Drums.
This is just
Piano
all
Vision.
again. Piano Vision is
Paradiddle.
another good one. Paradiddle.
Dude, there's so many.
Yeah, we got to sit down and think it. That might be like a 50 episode.
Oh, that God Sim we used to play. Oh, why
Deism?
can't I think Deism? That's
Yep,
another
Gods
great
of
one.
Gravity.
Gods of
Cards and
Gravity.
Tankards.
Not moving around.
Iron Guard. You know.
Oh yeah, Iron Guard would be pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah, let's
first
do-
time user. Yeah,
Yeah, let's do a first time VR experiences episode. I think we could get 50. What do you think is the number? 40?
I don't know. I'll go through my own apps and look and be like, holy shit, I'm sure I got at least 20, 30 in there.
It comes down to, is this a good first VR experience? So yeah, it's very easy to just go through our library of everything we own and be like, would I
But Epic
recommend that
Roller
to somebody?
Coaster is number one.
Yeah, my guess is we hit 50, but let's see. That'd be a
I'm
fun
down.
episode. But we've definitely, diverged. Again, we were talking about the Quest Plus, but we're just having fun. We always have fun
Whatever.
here, especially because we know there has been a
Snowed
lot of,
in. I'm going all Jack Nicholson over here.
Yeah, what can we do? Especially considering, it came out a couple weeks ago, maybe even a little over a month ago, that the Quest 2 was being sold now for $250, but it was originally said to be temporary for the holidays. But they've come out and say that price is now final. That's the new price of the Quest 2, $250.
That's freaking awesome, dude.
Dude, 100%. That's a great entry price into VR. The
And
Quest
it
2
didn't
is still
screw over people who bought Quest 2s for Christmas either.
No,
So,
it's not like
you
they've
bought
dropped it
for
even more.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like it wouldn't, like, oh man, I paid $290.
And the Quest 2 is hitting its peak life cycle. And I know that sounds crazy for me to say with the Quest 3 right there, but you look at 3 games that have dropped in the last couple months, optimized as hell for the Quest 2, squeezing every little juice out of it possible with Asgard's Wrath 2, Arizona Sunshine 2, and Assassin's Creed Nexus. Those are all like the peak of the Quest 2. I don't think that you can get more juice out of the Quest 2. It's hitting
look at Red Matter too, man.
Yeah, so with that being said, the Quest 3, I mean, wait till what we're seeing in like 2 years, 2.5 years, because it's been 2 years for the Quest 2 to hit its max,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it's a good time.
We're also seeing that tipping point of exclusives, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. What's interesting, I just want to comment on one thing quick, and then I do have something on exclusives as well that's very related to that. I know at least one person in my real life that bought a Quest 2 for their kid for $250, and then was like, I need to get one of these for myself, and got a Quest 3 for themselves as the adult. So I mean that's a real thing that's going to happen. If you bought a Quest 2 for your kid, right? They're 10. Think back to when I was 10. You buy me a Quest 2, right? You throw that thing on me, and you go, that's pretty sweet. Are you buying a Quest 2 for yourself as the adult? You're probably going right deep to the 3, But I could totally
1,000,000% over. I think knowing myself, I would have bought 2.
Just going
You know what I'm
crazy at
saying?
that point. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's just how it would have gone. Because I would, if I thought in my head maybe it was something we would have done, and hell yeah,
And do you think that
that
that's
would have been pretty cool.
a unique outlier personality trait of you, or do you think that that's something that there's many of you, many Stratus aspects?
I don't know. I think it's a little outlierish, just a smidge, not too much, but maybe
Yeah, but
past that middle line for sure.
I could totally see the sales funnel, though, of somebody buying a Quest 2 for their kids and buying a Quest 3 for themselves afterwards being not hugely prevalent, but enough that it's noticeable.
Dude, everybody in the family have one. You have Quest night.
Right? And if
Go
all your
play
kid
mini
is gonna
golf or go do some family shit,
if all you're going to do is play Gorilla Tag or Roblox or Horizon Worlds, I mean, honestly, a Quest 2 for a kid is still going to do, or Rec Room is still going to do the trick really well. For the people.
Think of like, hold on, I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, it's all right. It's the difference in doing remote versus our normal.
Yeah. Now I know what the guest
you
feels
go.
like.
You go. I'm rambling a bunch.
I was gonna say, like, you know how we settle family differences in this family, don't you? We put on the fucking headset and we fight. We duke it out.
Yeah,
Could you imagine?
Creed.
Got to play mom and dad against the kids for breachers, playing for dessert here.
Hey, at this point,
there's a whole bunch of different levels though that you could take it, especially as a family for family fun.
Yeah, especially if the Quest 2 is going to continue to be supported. So I love to see the Quest 2 maintaining that price of $250. To me, that means sales were crazy good. Meta's like, if in order for them to keep it at $250, the sales had to be good enough to justify it, right? So
yeah,
the Quest 2 for $250, man, that's baller to keep that at that price. I'm glad to see it. It's great for an entry-level headset still.
Start liquidating their inventory.
Pretty much because, sooner than expected, towards the end of 2023, Meta said, kind of funny when you think of it, because it's like, well, that doesn't mean much. That's a month away. But they had said, we won't see exclusive for the Quest 3 until 2024. And it's like, well, that's like a month and a half away. And go figure, like 5 days into 2024, Quest 3 exclusive game came out. It's called Townsman VR, and it's kind of like a VR city builder. It looks, this is right up our.
It's like got like 3 elements of gaming that I think I really like.
This is like made for me and you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's only single player though.
Unfortunately, but that's okay. Usually these games are. It's very rare we see this style of game, kind of like co-op or anything like that. I'm curious what makes this a Quest 3 only game. Graphically, when you look at the trailer and such, it doesn't scream Quest 3 only. But as we know, city builders and these type of top-down games, they can be pretty intense for systems to run as things get more like late stage. The game exists right now in PC VR. So, I mean, people have already played it. People can comment how good it is on PC VR. But I'm excited to hop into this one on the Quest 3 for sure. I just kind of surprised that this is the first Quest 3 exclusive.
They stayed to their word. They said 2024.
Yeah, they just didn't.
They could have done this shit the morning after.
And it would have been on. I know, that's why it's like, looking back, it's an extremely funny statement, because it's like
memes of Zuck just dropping the mic and.
No, but this looks fun. What's interesting about it being single player too is in the trailer, the video, it looks like there's other avatars floating around. So I don't really quite understand that aspect, but I'm definitely excited to hop into it.
Looks like there's a lot to do, a lot to build, a lot to upgrade. I think there's some challenge things to it, like challenge progression, unlockables. I mean, dude, it's like the perfect pill for what I want. So,
yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Quest 2 only users that don't get access to it, because, if I was still on a Quest 2, this is my style of game. We always say that we wish that there was more strategy games, more top-down games, and this is it. So, Townsman
nothing
VR,
motivates me more than telling me that I can't have something. So if you tell me I can't have it unless I own this, that, or the other thing, I want it.
Mm-hmm.
I start to get a little jelly.
I'm curious, because it's a PC VR game previously, how much it's scaled down to be on the Quest 3, or if this is an example of a 1-to-1 from PC VR to the Quest 3.
Well, it'd have to be a pretty weak PC VR game to do a 1-to-1, I think.
Well, I should mention too, it's $29.99 on the official MetaQuest store. So, we don't have keys for this one. We didn't We didn't get this one. Yeah, it kind of popped out of nowhere, but I think I might have to bite the bullet on this one. I am pretty freaking hyped for it, to say the least.
It's brave of them. I'll give them that, to release it still. I would still be holding off a little bit with the Asgard's Wrath hype start to die down. Only because, like not but a week ago, 10 days ago, people got a bunch of headsets. And
yeah, no, you're absolutely
with
correct.
that came, 60 hours of enjoyment for your first experience. Hey, look at that. You're great. It's like with the heat settle.
That's something that you're pretty vocal about. You're like, if you're a developer right now, you would not have released in the first half, even like major updates. I know that we were talking to some developers that were like, oh, I was really hoping to get some stuff out by New Year's. And you're like, that's the best thing that could have happened to you, that you have to wait a little
you had
bit.
to wait 100%, dude.
The three
it's like,
games
I'm looking at them like no different than you would like a stock market. Like what are all these companies doing and what's happening and when are they doing what they're going to do? Because it's going to have an effect on the other side of things. And, it used to be it still is a very friendly space. People are helpful and everyone wants everyone to succeed. But sooner or later, that scale is going to start to tip. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just an advocate of use caution when you release your games and know what your peers are doing. I won't even say competitors, or because you can get buried.
Something we talked about last week during our Assassin's Creed review, that it's great, but it, a AAA studio entered the VR market, but it also does mark that AAA studios are successfully coming into the market as well. And that might be the beginning of that pendulum starting to shift a little bit. It's always been in VR really dominated by, in the grand scheme of things, smaller studios, even what we consider our AAA VR studios. And I maintain that they'll be like, hey, no, look, we're still the small guys in the grand scheme when you hear them talk about it. But now we're seeing companies like Ubisoft come in, and who knows who else that's going to bring in to the market with it.
Well, if people were waiting to see what Ubisoft does and how it's perceived, then, it was a home run for, yeah, man, weird times. Times are, I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but there will be a time where people aren't going to be as openly helpful to the whole, it's going to be a lot of proprietary stuff. And right now, developers will even share code, like, hey, this worked for me, but, we'll see.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if it always stayed like this open, like human open source, you could call it,
Well, dude, even on our end as just a podcast, look how welcoming the whole VR community has been to creators,
1,000,000%,
to people looking to get in on the creator side. It's such a welcoming community, both by developers, studios, and just other people involved. It's unique. Who knows if that's going to be the case in 5 or 6 years at once, things are much more quote unquote mainstream, but the VR industry is unique in that regard. It's very supportive, but let's see where 2024, 2025, 2026 bring it, I agree 100%.
Release them games carefully. Yeah. To me, if you're going to put a game out there, you want the most exposure you can get for it, for whatever dollar you're spending for it. And however you need to do that, that's what you need to do. I think we were saying last week, 2 years ago, you could put anything in the store and people would probably buy it, because that was one of the issues around the time we got a headset, was there wasn't a lot of, there were a lot of games, but not a lot of games.
Yeah, I ended up on SideQuest very fast, is what I'll say.
Correct. Yep. So
remember App Lab didn't even exist yet, and I was like,
nope.
Dude, look at all these games.
When App Lab did exist, though. That was a game changer, because there was more shit we could get from App Lab that was worth trying than risking buying some of the games on the official store.
And what's cool about,
there were some gems on there too, dude.
100%. And it's been cool to see the evolution of App Lab as well, going from something where when it first launched, it was, in pretty much all the SideQuest library was brought into App Lab, but then because there's that unofficial market, now we've seen developers start to use it for early access, limited time beta testing, early builds. It's been cool.
It's a great tool for developers.
Absolutely.
To be able to have a platform that, sadly it's still not as known as I think we'd like people to know.
No. At least you don't need to type in a game 100% correctly into the search bar.
That was the worst.
You still got to scroll down, hit view more, and then deal with what to somebody like new to the industry, like new to the market might think is a virus message almost, with the pop up of like the warning, like, hey, this is an unauthorized app. I could still even see that scaring somebody away, but it's gotten slightly better. And what's cool is we've seen, games go from App Lab to the official store. While it's not clear, there is a pipeline that exists that, you can launch your game App Lab and officially get to the store.
And there's been some games that have been App Lab that we thought for sure were going right to the store.
Yeah.
So they don't seem to discriminate at all. Whether you're known, if for whatever reason it needs to be on App Lab, it's going there first.
Swordsman VR was the big example of that to me. That was a top-selling PlayStation VR game, and then came to App Lab originally and had to work their way through relentless amounts of updates.
Had to hack and slash all the way to the store.
And they
did it, dude. They did really good.
And it's still being supported. Swordsman VR is getting full upper body tracking soon, enhanced AI. I mean, dude, Sin Studio crushes it for sure.
Yeah, I don't think they've stopped since they released the freaking thing. And I'm going to go back to App Lab.
Yeah, 100%. And dude, there's still some games that, for the most part, the games that we've been screaming about the most have gotten on the official store. That's always cool to see, but there's still that number that haven't, like Squingle, Bocce Time, the Atlas Mystery. What's going on? Rooms of Reality.
Atlas Mystery, I'll never understand, to be honest with you.
No, that's a official store game.
Yeah, and you look at some of the ones that are, I'm going to say similar, but they're not. Atlas Mystery is its own thing, but it's like,
No, that's one of the best VR puzzle
Why is it not
experiences
on the store?
With a great story. Great story. The Atlas Mystery, I highly recommend.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. That's one that could easily be forgotten too. So it'd be nice to see it at the store.
Yeah, King Canuck always says in our Discord too, him and his girlfriend, they played it where like he wore the headset and casted it to the TV, and they kind of helped each other solve
the puzzles together.
Dude,
those puzzles were legit.
Yeah. There's a couple notably, I don't want to give spoilers, but there's a couple notably that stick out as, damn, that was hard.
I think that was the first time too that I ever cast to my TV and had Tracy try to help me solve a puzzle.
I think I actually remember that too. It's a good game for it because of the story. It's got a really good story to it. So, the Atlas Mystery, but Bocce Time, Squingle, Color Connect, Rooms of Reality.
So much work went into the Atlas Mystery, dude. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I'm remembering talking to the
Dan
developer.
Clifton. Yeah. I think that they have some new stuff.
It's like it wasn't just like a slap together. There's a real story going on.
They've been teasing in our Discord some like beta early access builds and stuff for a new game that they're working on as well. PC VR only for now, but Dan keeps saying, Quest coming soon. So I'm excited to see and check out what
when I see him post in Discord that, if anyone wants to try it for Quest, I'm all over it. It breaks my heart that I've seen it twice now, I think, posted, and I'm like, fucker, I can't.
Well, the 2024 goal is for me and you to have PC VR desktops by the end of the year. So the Patreon funds,
we got to be close to one.
I think so. The Patreon funds and the YouTube funds are, it also depends on what level of PC VR we go to, but those funds are building up and going to be put towards desktop PCs. So if you want to support that cause, we have some donation methods in YouTube. Also our Patreon, which we'll plug a little bit more from now, but you want to do one more and then we'll hop to a little ad break?
Sure.
Get it done earlier rather than later. Then when we come back, we can kind of, wrap up with talking about some more games coming in the second half of January. Still, what I imagine in your eyes, a risky time to release a game, but a little less risky than right at the start.
As each day goes on, it gets a little less risky, but I mean, do the math.
I think our list is starting at January 16th, I think, for games coming out. No, there's one January 11th. January 11th still a little early. January 16th is a point where it's starting to get.
I mean, me
safe.
personally, I wouldn't do anything till February.
Yeah, which,
but
by
that's
the way,
just,
I got to plug it. If you're going to say the word February, I got to say it. If you're a developer or studio, this is your last week to partake. If you want a chance to show off your game or anything like that, we have our Ruff Talk VR gaming showcase on Friday, February 2nd. So stay tuned for that. If you're a fan of VR, we already have some great trailers committed to it. It's going to be a great show. And if you're a developer or studio, you want to partake, we have the showcase forum in our show notes. Go fill that out. But regardless, Friday, February 2nd, 2024 at 1 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. That's going to be a good time for sure. But I think
I'd release my game that day at like 3 o'clock.
right after the showcase, pretty much.
Yeah.
That would be pretty epic. But the last piece of news before we take a little ad break, got to give a shout out to it. Again, we're Quest only standalone peeps. We don't have PC VR yet, but for the PC VR crowd, one of the biggest news or updates or anything came out last week. There's a modder, Praydog, and they've been working on an extremely hyped Unreal Engine VR injector, with the idea behind it to be able to take any flat screen game that runs off of the Unreal Engine and inject VR support into it. And it's been hyped. They were saying it's going to come out before the end of the year. It's going to come out before the end of the year. It was like December 29th, December 30th. People are like, what's going on? And they released it, if I remember correctly, on the 31st towards the end of the day. And since then, people have been going crazy injecting VR into any Unreal game that's made with Unreal, including like Grand Theft Auto, Crash Bandicoot, whole bunch of cool experiences. And they have quite a bit of motion controller support options, so you can play with a gamepad. They have vision movement options where you move with your head. They have options where you can move with the controllers, with the analog stick. It's takes some tinkering per title, but usually people that are playing with mods and stuff, they're down for that experience. That's half the fun of modding, is the tinkering and getting it to run properly. So if you like VR mods, to play flat screen games in VR, things just hit a whole new level with Praydog's Unreal Engine VR injector, and it's free. So you don't have to pay for it or anything like that. You can download it, start to have fun, and enjoy your favorite flat screen games that run off of Unreal in VR. The only caveat is that you have to legally own the game you're trying to play in VR. So I think that's very, very reasonable. No piracy,
from
people.
What I've been reading, I mean, it's cool to see, like, I think the diehard VR people will prefer to play games made for VR versus modded VR. But I would try it. I've just heard a lot of games that have certain camera functions. It can be a little
correct,
tough.
And it just.
But I mean, for what it is, I also heard that even with those experiences, shit was still great.
Mm-hmm. I think going into it too, as a consumer that likes modding, you probably don't expect it to be 100% optimized for VR, depending on the title too. A lot of people, I've seen people play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but it's still like third person. And then sometimes, there's first person views in some games that work great. So,
although driving games, I like third person. So,
does Civilization run off of Unreal? If so, somebody's got to let me know how that is. I've been begging for it.
While you're talking, I might look just to see.
Yeah, the modding community, though, for the PC VR crowd, they're in for a treat. Interestingly enough, it sparked a little bit of, I guess, debate for some reason in the VR community, where people are like, if this is the future of PC VR gaming, then it's officially dead. People are like, oh, I'd much rather just support native built games, which I understand. I'm that same way as well, but it shouldn't be either or. I think it's just a great supplement. In the meantime, right now, Do those games exist in VR? No. So, I mean, this is a great alternative for people that enjoy that type of VR mods. I don't think it does any harm to the industry. I also think that the percentage of people that enjoy it or are going to enjoy it is a very small percentage of the total VR market, but it's great that it exists for them. I don't see any negative to the Unreal Engine VR injector. Anecdotally, I have heard that some studios have, seen how good their games work in VR and are now exploring that possibility. And if that's where this leads, freaking awesome. That's the best case scenario for the industry. Did you find an answer on Civ?
No, I was like, I'm gonna have to do some digging. I'm not gonna sit here and do digging.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will know if you can inject Unreal VR, or if
this
you
is
can
just
inject,
the start too. So I mean, dude, think
it
like
just
half
came
a
out.
decade from. It's like you can't. You'll be finding a time where there'll be an injector that will reverse it, so you can take VR games and play them flat screen. It's
100%.
it's funny. Yep.
Yeah. No, but I'm glad it exists. I don't think that there's any negative that I can think of. Again, you have to legally own the games.
What's the negative?
I
It's
can't
not
think of it.
forced on you. You chose to get it. So I mean,
it's not being
it's not
shoved
like-
down anybody's throats. It's not like anybody's like, if you want to enjoy VR, you
No.
have to go use the Unreal. It's like,
for
dude,
somebody that wants to. I mean, if you've got the time to set up all the parameters to make it work, then great, do it. But like you said, most people who are into modding, they're like, that's half the fun is
100%
setting up the shit you want.
getting it to work. Anybody who's modded will know that. I mean, like, that's the joy. It's getting it to
But there
to
are
run
a
properly and playing
ton
with
of
it.
flat screen games that in my head are made for VR. So I mean, to me, it's like,
Hell yeah. Then it's like, I agree with that. This lets you prove to yourself that it would work good in VR.
Yeah.
Maybe it's obviously not going to be as good as a VR experience built for VR from the ground up. There's probably going to be little hiccups in any experience.
closest we're gonna get to Grand Theft Auto.
Dude, it was right away. I saw people using it with both San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 5. So it's
Oh
cool
yeah,
to see.
dude. I wouldn't even waste my time with San Andreas if I had that ability. I'd be like,
Mhm.
nope, going to their last one.
And apparently Grand Theft Auto 5 in VR is a blast. So, I mean, dude, yeah, I can't think of any negative to this. I'm glad it exists. Huge props to Praydog. Apparently it took huge amount of effort to put together. Dude, to be able to inject VR into any game, just look at that from any game runs off of Unreal, I should say. Think of that from a technical standpoint. That's extreme. So, huge props to them. I'm glad the VR or the PC VR modding community gets some new toys to play with, to say the least. And hopefully later this year we get to check it out ourselves. But let's take an ad break before we get too carried away. We got a couple more pieces of news, and then, like I said, some games coming out later in January to talk about as well. But like we like to do before every ad break, let's give a shout out to our Patreon members on our on-air shout out tier. Huge props to these people that continue to support every month. We have Asim, Amelia, Earth Witness, Jake, Mike Morbid, Crispy, Shoes. No, so I should have said Crispy and Shoes, but I have so much fun saying Crispy Shoes.
I'll take the number 4 Crispy Shoes extra large, please.
Yeah, I apologize to you too as well, but I'm having too much fun with that one. But huge props to our Patreon members. Like I said, they continue to support month after month. Also, huge props to you as the listener that for some reason seems to still enjoy listening to us ramble about the latest and greatest and all things in VR. It's really cool to see our Discord community grow week after week. Cool to see our presence in VR, I guess you could say, grow, month after month as well. It's been a fun journey. I think we're only getting started. Like I said, we have our showcase February 2nd, our award show pending any more snowstorms, recorded next weekend. PAX East coming in March. It's a fun time ahead in 2024, but it wouldn't be anything without the listeners that listen week after week, the people that engage in our Discord server, our Patreon members. You guys are all awesome. And if you want to join our Patreon or our Discord, the link for that is in our show notes, our episode description. So you'll see Patreon, click there. We also have all the Patreon tiers available directly through YouTube as well. It's all the same benefits, everything like that. On-air shout outs, access to an exclusive chat room in our Discord server, your name across the bottom of the video and a rolling ticker, all that fun stuff. So go check that out. Thank you all again for supporting, listening week after week, and we'll be back with you after a message from these sponsors.
Hey everyone, we're taking a quick little break from our usual VR chat today to focus on something incredibly exciting for Quest users. Our new sponsor, Soul Assembly, creators of the thrilling VR co-op game Drop Dead the Cabin, now enhanced for the MetaQuest 3, introduces an electrifying mixed reality experience. In Drop Dead the Cabin, as night descends and zombies come your way, the game offers more than just survival. It brings a groundbreaking mixed reality mode called Home Invasion. Imagine your living room becoming part of the game, with zombies crashing into your real-world environment. This fusion of the virtual and real world elevates your game to an extraordinary level. It's not just playing, it's experience the game in your living space. You'll still enjoy the classic game modes, either teaming up with a friend in two-player co-op or facing the terror alone. But Home Invasion adds a thrilling twist, blending your reality with the intense world of the game. Get ready for an exhilarating journey of survival, both in the virtual world and right in your home. The game continuously evolves with new updates and features, keeping the excitement fresh. And the best part, you get to experience this unique mixed reality environment where every corner of your room could hide a new challenge. So if you're ready to test your skills in this mixed reality setting and see if you can survive the horde, check out Drop Dead the Cabin on the MetaQuest. Also, don't forget to join their Discord community to connect with other gamers and the developers themselves. We've also got a discount code for you for 10% off the game over the holidays, which can be applied at the checkout. That's going to be Ruff Talk Podcast -04A 2D0. That again is Ruff Talk Podcast -04A2D0. We can't wait to hear about your experiences, especially on the Home Invasion mixed reality mode. Dive into Drop Dead the Cabin today and see how you fare in this immersive new reality. And again, that's discount code Ruff Talk Podcast -04A 2D0 at checkout for an additional 10% off. It's Santa time. The season for a fresh cut is finally here with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming have just launched their 5th-generation lawnmower to help you avoid another silent night in the bedroom this year. Take care of your special snowflake with Manscaped and watch your South Pole shine like never before. Get the best stocking stuffer of all by going to manscaped.com and using the code word RuffTalkVR for 20% off plus free shipping. Mrs. Claus will thank you. What could be better than giving the gift of good hygiene and a few laughs? Starting with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, this is the crown jewel of the holidays, and dare I say the best ball trimmer of all time. The electric razor's advanced skin-safe technology is a lifesaver and known for reducing nicks and cuts on his Santa sack. But the fun doesn't stop there. Anybody in the family have too much scruff? Look no further than Manscaped Beard Hedger Pro Kit and Handyman Electric Face Shaver for all his facial hair needs. Dad have those nasty nose hairs? Save the day with the Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and ear hair trimmer. Is there boxer game week? Take care of the chestnuts with Manscaped's Boxers 2.0, featuring their signature jewel pouch to keep you calm, cool, and collected. Have their nails seen better days? Manscaped has you covered with the new Shears 3.0 nail grooming kit. You can get 20% off plus free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com for just using the code RuffTalkVR. Say ho 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 to a well-groomed mistletoe with Manscaped.
And we are back. And in another piece of big news, I guess, from the last couple weeks, it was announced by Qualcomm that they have not a next-gen chip, kind of like an upgraded version of the new one that came out in the Quest 3. They announced their Snapdragon XR Plus Gen 2, which is going to be 15% higher clock GPU and 20% higher clock CPU. And, the current chip in the Quest 3 supports 10 tracking cameras. This one's going to support 12, as well as some higher resolution on lenses and stuff like that. Again, Qualcomm said it's not a next-gen chip or anything like that, like we saw from the Quest 2 to the Quest 3. It's just kind of a plus model. But that instantly got me thinking, like, if I'm Meta, I want to make a Pro 2 right now with that too. What the hell? But Qualcomm also said, interestingly, that the chip is in the works to come out in upcoming VR headsets. including Immerse new visor headset that's in the works, Samsung's upcoming Google partnered VR headset, a VR headset in the Chinese market from a company that's called YVR, and then also a VR headset that's yet to be announced from HTC, and an undisclosed fifth one. So interesting, but 5 VR headsets in the works to come out with this chip that's more powerful than the one in the Quest 3.
It's
Dude,
freaking awesome.
the VR market is about to get crazy. I mean, think of that. 5 headsets. If that was all come out this year, I mean, Visor's headset has me interested as well. That
I'll
one's
try every one of them.
If they want to send them to over here, you can contact us at, actually a few different ways. We had Ruff Talk VR at Gmail forever, but now you could also do, Damien at Ruff Talk VR. Don't we also have Brian at Ruff Talk VR? So
we do.
You can get in contact with us there about sending us any one of those 5 I'll be happy with. Do you think that fifth one? What do you think that fifth one is? Meta?
I don't know.
Nintendo?
No.
Do you think it's Nintendo?
No.
I'm pretty confident Nintendo's working on something. There was that rumor like a year ago, and where there's smoke, there's fire. I would love to see Nintendo enter the market.
It's possible.
I just don't know if they would use that same chip. If they would do their own stuff. I don't know the way Nintendo usually does stuff, but I'm hoping it's Nintendo. That would be fun. Or the fifth one's Meta with a Pro 2. But I feel like that they would have included Meta on that list.
Yeah, I don't know why they would have left them off it's not like they're not a good consumer.
No. And it's interesting to see that YVR headset on that list. Meta's entering the Chinese market soon with a kind of a Quest Lite. They haven't announced the specs of it or anything yet, but people have kind of theorized it's going to be black and white pass-through, not pancake lenses, the old style lenses to keep the cost low. But then here we are. I've never heard of YVR before, but they're coming out with, a headset that's going to be wicked powerful. I'm interested to see how those two compete against each other. We've heard from developers and, people that work in that side of things quite a bit about the emerging Chinese market in VR. So I think that might be the sleeper story of the next year or two, is how big that Chinese VR market has the potential to actually get.
I mean, it's an area that admittingly piqued my interest this year.
Yeah.
Started going down
I'm calling it now. That's the sleeper story of 2024.
Yeah, and it's also a market that if you're, it's gonna be like if you're not in it, it's kind of like the same mistakes as if you didn't make a game for a Quest.
Correct. It has the potential to be extremely profitable if things kick off. Correct.
Yes, most definitely.
So I'm excited.
There's a massive population, but I don't think VR is as popular though.
That's what I'm saying. It all depends on how it kicks in. And then if you look at it, Meta's working on this Quest Lite to enter the Chinese market. They don't have their South American supply lines set yet. Like, you can't officially buy a Quest headset if you're living in Brazil through Meta or anything like that. It has to be through third-party retailers, not officially supported with, customer support and stuff like that, because you're not in a supported region. I think
Friends
as well
in the
as
States.
I mean, you look at a country like Brazil, it's a huge population. I think that should also be high priority, breaking into those markets as well, As
Very
far as I'm concerned,
gamers too.
Dude, that. We've both been competitive gaming. That was my first ever experience with Brazilians. Now I work in a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym. But,
Remember they would always do the J
or K.
Yeah.
Because that makes the ha-ha sound. Brazilian gamers were always
Wicked
hardcore
good,
competitive. So, I mean, to me, it's like, if from a business standpoint, any market that you're not in is just money on the table that you're leaving. And if you, look at Brazilian VR market, it exists. There are VR gamers in, markets like Brazil, but they have to go through extreme convoluted ways to get a Quest or a Pico. And it's like, man, break into the Chinese market, break into the South American market. It's just money on the table. And if the Quest Lite is the way to do it, let's do it, So I don't think that should be a a China only thing by any means. That should be used to break into all of those markets that they're not currently in.
Oh my God, yeah, dude.
What do I know? I'm just a guy sitting at home, snowed in.
Every country in the world should have access to VR.
Yeah, I mean that should be the
I mean,
number
I'm
one
sure
priority.
there's countries that won't ever let it because, you know, I mean, besides the obvious of like North Korea is never gonna open their arms to a VR headsets, you know.
Well, there was a period where you couldn't get a Quest 2 officially in Germany because of the Facebook requirement, the Facebook account requirement. But that's since lifted. I mean, to me, I don't know all the details behind it, the way it all works. Obviously, I've never worked out supply chains or anything like that, but that should be number one priority. It's just money on the table. That's all.
Yeah. And it might take, as a developer, changing your game a little.
Yeah,
to
you're going to
accommodate the rules of each specific country.
And not only that, localization also becomes more important, making sure your game's properly translated to Portuguese, to French, you know, to Chinese.
Jesus, dude.
You know, so there is more, but you got to think of it. If a market brings in enough money to justify the localization costs, then it's no brainer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it all depends on how much VR really kicks in these markets. But let's start sooner rather than later is kind of my attitude. Two more little quick pieces of news, and then we'll go over some more games coming out in the second half of January. The Quest 3 is now officially the fourth most used headset on SteamVR, continuing its slow climb to the top, with the Quest 2 being the number one. I mean, do you think in 2024 we're going to see the Quest 3 overpass the Quest 2 on those Steam charts? I think so.
It might, just out of being forced to, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just meaning, you know, start seeing more exclusives come out for Quest 3. You're probably going to see more Quest 3s being sold as well.
Well,
you're going to see some angry ass people, but whatever.
Yeah, still surprised Townsman VR was the first of the bunch, but you know, somebody had to do it.
Yeah, and if they did it with Assassins, that would have been the end of the world.
No, like I said, you look at the Assassin's
shooting themselves
Creed,
in the foot.
Arizona Sunshine 2 and Asgard's Wrath 2. Those are the peak. That is the Quest 2 at its the max of its life cycle. That's as good as it's going to get on the Quest 2, in my opinion. Now we're entering the Quest 3 cycle. Kind of a random thought on exclusives too. I think if I was a developer releasing on the Quest store, I don't think I would want to do a Quest 3 exclusive yet. I mean, as of right now,
unless you're damn good, you've been working on it for the past year and you just gambled that everything would come right, and it did.
I can't confidently say that there's enough Quest 3s in the wild today to justify that as a business decision, you know? And if it's between not released at all or released, then yeah, I understand, but there's too many Quest 2s in the wild right now, still actively being used. It's still too big of a market, in my opinion.
If we were to play this game that isn't exclusive for the 3, and 15 minutes into it, we're like, oh yeah, this would never run on the Quest 2, then I'll be a believer.
Yeah.
But if I play something made for the Quest 3 and I feel in my head like, I don't know why this wouldn't be able to run on it too, that's going to be a little painful, you know?
That's my bias I have before I play Townsman VR, just looking at the trailers and stuff like that, I go,
But that game is made for, Jesus.
For me and you? Yeah, 100%. I'll be probably getting that in the next day or two. Also, quick shout out, I got to say, I'm wearing not the same exact one. We each have our own, but the Dungeons of Eternity shirt you were wearing last week, it's just kind of cut off.
Coincidentally, I'm missing mine. Now I see it.
How did I end up with 2? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm wearing good old-fashioned Ruff Talk.
But last piece of news before we go into some upcoming game talk and to anybody on the video, I'm going to play with trying to run these trailers as I speak. Usually I do it in the post-editing. I'm trying to improve every week a little bit with the editing, but as I try to improve, there's going to be some technical hiccups. So I think I hiccuped a couple times during the Townsman VR portion before, but like I said, all part of the learning experience. I don't agree with this piece of news. I mean, I agree. Obviously, it's real. I'm not saying I disagree with the fact, but I disagree with the direction of it. I don't like this, but Meta has temporarily removed Chromecast support from the Quest. So you can't cast to Chromecast anymore.
I don't know why.
They've said it's because it was never officially supported by Google. I think Google might be a little bit tight with that stuff too, but they said they're working on a solution to have it back soon. But that's unfortunate. I think casting, screen sharing,
working on a solution.
Yeah, there should never have been a point
How many
where
zeros?
It was dropped.
How many zeros is in the solution?
Right? It could just be a paid licensing thing, in which case they're saying, they're just trying to work out that side. But it's unfortunate because I think that type of stuff, easy recording features, live streaming features, easy casting, all that stuff is essential to share VR, to grow it. I still think that you should be able to live stream directly from your headset, boop, just to YouTube, just like that. Just click of a button, We're not at that point yet, but my point being that stuff is essential. So it's very unfortunate to see. Hopefully we see it back soon. I know a lot of people that's how they share it with their significant other or their friends. We mentioned King Canuck casting it before as well. The workaround that you have to do now is that you go on your Meta app, you turn on your Bluetooth, you cast it to your phone, and then from your phone, you screen share it to your TV. So you can still do it. It's just unnecessary added steps and friction versus just being able to do it click of a button through your headset. I know it's something you've used before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed, but whatever.
Yeah. Very, very popular.
What am I going to do?
Hopefully in a couple weeks you hear us talking about it's added back, now officially supported. Maybe it works better, but definitely unfortunate to see the Chromecast feature go, even if it's just temporarily. So what was cool to see is one of the most popular games in VR, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. They announced that they're getting a Quest 3 enhancement on January 16th. So that's cool to see. I still find
it's the original game, not the second.
Yeah. Still the more widely enjoyed and well received one of the two. To be honest with you, I haven't experienced the follow-up yet, and I've been dying to go back into Saints and Sinner on the Quest 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking of starting over.
But I mean, now with an actual update, a Quest 3 enhancement, really taking advantage of the new headset. I mean, now is the perfect time to go back into it. And then I think after going back into it, I think I'll go and experience the sequel for myself finally. Still haven't heard the best things about the sequel, but the first one is just one of the best VR experiences that you can have.
Yeah, now it's like a brand new VR experience.
Yeah.
Whether you played it or not,
The haptics in the game, where, the feeling when you shove something into a zombie's head, it's still some of the best ways I've seen it done to this day.
Yeah, it's got good physics.
Yeah. No, they crushed it. I don't know what happened with the sequel. And then Behemoth's been delayed as well. So interesting times, but that one though, home run. Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, boom, getting a Quest 3 enhancement on January 16th. Then another one coming out soon. It's coming out January 18th. It's been hyped. It was delayed. It was supposed to come out last year, and now we're going to finally see it. It's actually a port of an existing flat screen game, Bulletstorm VR. And I'll be honest with you, I never played the original Bulletstorm, but it's got a huge cult following. Did you ever experience it?
I think I have played it.
Yeah, it's a port of the original. Like, it's not a spin-off or anything like that, but they're adding, as you can see in the trailer, 2 new exclusive levels as well. So for existing fans of the game, they get a little treat, a little bonus for this one. But for people like myself that never even experienced the first one, I get to experience it. It's not a spin-off. It's not its own one. It is a VR port of the original game coming January 18th. And if you pre-order it now, it's 10% off. That's not bad.
10%'s not bad.
No.
Or you just wait until the day of and
that's
go
the
into any
part.
of the thousands of different social groups and get 25% off.
That's the real sad part about it all is that, even there's been times that we get discount codes which I'll say, hey, support the show. Use our Ruff Talk one when we have them, but it's tough when it's less than 25% because you know that.
Yeah, man. If it's 30, then oh my God, people jump all over it. But it's like the gig is up. Everyone knows, you don't have to. You just have to be the first one to buy it.
People are in the reviews dropping their referral code literally 30 seconds after a game comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's lightning freaking fast. But
it would be neat to see some sort of creative workaround for that.
Yeah,
but as it stands now, it's like I don't see why anyone would ever pay full price for a game unless you're that first person.
Yep. And with the pre-order, a lot of times though, the thing to push it towards the pre-order is exclusives that you only get from pre-ordering. So as a developer, that is even more important to do now. I'll make another prediction for 2024. I think in 2024, we see a huge revamping of that referral system. I don't think that that's going to stay the way it is.
I don't know. It's weird because if they take it away, it's going to upset a lot of freaking people. A lot of people, I mean, they depend on it.
At some point in time, you're going to have to pull away the Band-Aid. They've even started it now that if a code's been used X amount of times, it changes to 10%. Yeah. So they're already starting. That's why I think they rolled out the system with way too high of a discount. The affiliate, the referral.
I mean, in all honesty, you know what the fix is?
Just make a 10%
discount code. No, you only can use it once.
Ooh.
It's a 1-for-1.
Yep.
That person can then pass it on, but to one person. So the minute someone uses your code, boom, it's it. Someone tries it, it's going to be like, this code's already been used.
Well, that would be a major revamping as well.
Then you can still wait for the discount code, but your odds just diminish
dropped a lot.
Intensely. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest. If I bought a game, who do you think I'm going to give the 25% to?
Me.
You. And then if you got one, you're probably going to give it to one of your friends in VR. So
I could see that.
The cycle takes its own direction from there. That's the easiest fix.
Whether it's doing what you said, dropping the total discount percentage, whatever, I predict we're going to see a major revamping of that system in some way in 2024. But that's just a prediction.
Talking about I just fixed it. Dude, I literally just fixed it. It's that simple.
It is, but is it integrated yet? No. So the day it is, then we can say it.
Tomorrow at 11:42. I think that goes into play.
So another really cool one coming out also on January 16th. Toy Trains, a game that's made by the developers of Super Hot. They went and made a new studio called Something Random. They have Toy Trains coming out, and this is another game that looks made for me and you. I mean, it's called Toy Trains. I'm playing the trailer now, but you could not play the trailer if you wanted, and you already know what's going. Yeah, you already know what's going to go on. We talked about this game a couple weeks ago, but it's like a childhood dream for toy train lovers, come true. To be able to build completely with your imagination, with really no restrictions to size of your living room and stuff like that. That's huge. You don't have to take it down. Don't ever run out of space.
I'm wicked excited for this one. But that's what I said when we originally had found it. And yeah, it's coming out for PlayStation also. So
yep, PlayStation, PC VR, and Quest, all on January 16th. So super
more and more simulators coming out, man. Although this is a simulator.
It's a train simulator. Little
just not like a
game.
Train simulator. Like,
would you consider this a strategy game? I kind of have a bias that I consider anything top down like this strategy, but I don't know if it all is. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It is because you got to put the tracks together. Even if you make a circle,
yeah.
If you don't do that, it's not going to work.
Dude, the trailer's got me fucking sold. This game looks fun. This game looks a lot of fun. It's right around the corner.
Especially if there's a lot of challenges and stuff that you can do too.
Coming from a great group of developers, starting with something random. I love the name of the studio. So I don't know.
Oh, Something Random?
Yeah.
I love it because that means they can pump out whatever they want.
Well, dude, Super Hot is a much different game than than Toy Trains VR. So who knows? Maybe they do a shooter, like a PvP shooter next.
Train shooter.
Yeah.
No, I love when studios go, totally resolution games. That's a great
Yep.
example of a studio that they don't latch on to one niche or genre and go, okay, let's just
You have
milk this
no
for everything
idea
we can get.
what the hell Resolution is working on next.
No.
Same with Vertigo. Same with Shell.
Did you think they were going to do Racket Club?
No.
Nope.
No.
I
And
couldn't
what
have
was
predicted that in a million years.
so cool to hear in that interview was to hear how many lessons came from Blast on it, a game that is so different than Racket Club. But when you hear the developer speak of it, it's like, dude, no, I get what you're saying. So Resolution is incredible. They're learning from even the games that are completely unrelated to each other. They bring those lessons into the new one. You never know what they're going to have next.
What do you think they're going to do this year?
Dude, I can't even begin to speculate. Another one too is fast travel. You don't know what fast travel's cooking up next.
Dude,
Beyond Frames, who knows what they got in their publishing wing right around the corner. I mentioned Shell Games as well. So,
although we know Shell Games is already probably working on
a plethora
I Expect
of
You
stuff.
to Die For, right?
At least thinking of ideas. I would hope so. I want it. Give me a DLC or something. Dude,
I feel like they're already working on it.
Do you remember when they did Home Sweet Home, the mixed reality puzzle one?
Yeah.
Because
which was fantastic little demo.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I could see the potential of mixed reality, kind of, but I wasn't 100% sold. Now, fast forward to today, I'm craving mixed reality. I Expect You to Die puzzles. Serious. And there's a game in the Retropolis universe. There's Retropolis 1 and 2. They're coming out with a spin-off that's going to be a mixed reality puzzle game. So that sounds so freaking cool. I think it's going to be
such
called
a
Retropolis
sucker
Online.
for puzzle games.
Yeah, and then we look at The Infinite Inside, a new project from Maze Theory. That's a mixed reality puzzle game.
That is
give them to me.
Trippy one.
I'm excited for mixed reality puzzle games. It's a no-brainer. And we're seeing full-fledged mixed reality games starting to come out, Even like Aspire 2's mixed reality mode is much more of a full-fledged mixed reality game than a game mode like it actually is,
Oh, Aspire 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That mixed reality
they could have released that as its own little, $4.99.
Yeah, easy.
It could have been its own game.
So well done.
I don't look at that as a mixed reality experience per se. That's like
a mixed reality game.
You said it's a mixed reality game.
Mm-hmm. And we did mention the platforms for Toy Trains.
It's a joke.
PC VR, PlayStation VR, and Quest 2 and Quest 3. Should mention now that we're in the realm of exclusives.
For now.
Another cool one that I saw coming later this month. I think it's coming out, what is that, January 18th as well. So we're already seeing that date get pretty loaded with Bulletstorm also coming out that day. This one's coming out on PC VR and Quest. It's called Hunt Together. It's a PvP game.
This one's going to be great, dude.
It's 1 versus 3. It's a psychological horror game. I mean, dude, this one looks intense.
I've been waiting for this to come to VR. This
1
style
versus
of game.
3? Hell yeah.
Tag for adults.
Pretty much, but in like a horror setting. And something about it being multiplayer to me takes away a little bit of the scary aspect. Like single player horror experiences are much more intense.
Y'all can scream together.
Especially if you're on the team of 3.
Gonna get you.
I mean, 1 versus 3. Ooh, this is
it's going to be unique. It's definitely like it reminds me of that Friday the 13th game.
Dude, I was waiting for an opportunity to say that. 100%.
Yeah. But this is going to have its own special twists. So
1,000,000%. And I had heard
I'm stoked for it though.
I never ended up playing that Friday the 13th game. I had always heard mixed things, but conceptually it sounded so much fun. I think
people were upset because if I remember, Jason had he was faster. So
that might have just been a gameplay balancing thing though,
But he's supposed to be faster. I've seen those movies. You look behind, he's wicked far away. You run a little, you look behind, he's in front of you now.
Correct.
Like, obviously, I mean, I guess the real question is Jason actually real? Because he's technically dead, right?
What do you mean by is he real?
Is he really real? Not in
what
real
sense?
life, like in the sense that, like, you've seen the movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
He clearly has died in every single movie.
And clearly is killing people.
Yes, but is he actually real, or is he just an angry spirit with a machete and a mask? Because you can't die and come back.
He
right?
doesn't die either. Like when people try to kill him again, you know.
Yeah,
he can take a
just
fucking
dies for the season.
He's a little punching
He
bag.
can take a beating. You know, when I lost interest in that show is when they did Jason Takes Manhattan. And I'm like, really?
Or how about Freddy versus Jason? That wasn't my cup of tea either.
No, Krueger was funny though.
Yeah, well, the Krueger
that's why he
always had a little sick humor.
Yeah, he was sarcastic. You know, he was funny.
That would be an intense VR experience.
Being Krueger?
No. Your character falls asleep and you gotta survive the dream. Get out.
Survive a nightmare.
With Freddy Krueger coming after you. That could be an intense one, but that's not what we're talking about fully. You know, Hunt Together, a 1 versus 3 PvP horror game. Dude, it's a cool concept. I'm excited. All about it. You have kind of dreamed up a game like this, and it's cool to see, you know, hopefully it delivers, but we'll know soon. And if we're talking about mixed reality experiences, look no further than an upcoming game called Demeter. And it's coming out on January 25th. I'm so excited for this one. I mean, this is a full-fledged mixed reality game. Not an experience, not a game mode, a standalone mixed reality game. And it's a top-down VR kind of platformer, it looks like in the trailer. I don't know. Looks like there's a lot of potential with it.
Looks like it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to play it.
Can you believe it's only been a month into the year and we're getting mixed reality specific games made for mixed reality from the ground up? It's so cool to see.
No, it looks like it's done right. And like I said, I'm anxious to try it.
Yeah, a top-down platformer kind of makes sense for, well, I won't use the word top-down because I guess if you want it to be, you know, literal to the wording, top-down would mean like top to bottom bird eye view. But I kind of consider anything that's like top viewing, even at like a slant or an angle, top-down, you know, whether or not that's correct. But it's a VR platformer in VR. Looks so freaking cool. It's available for pre-order now, coming out January 15th on the MetaQuest store. I mean, dude, this might be one of those experiences that really sell people on the potential of mixed reality.
Oh, it's not going to hurt, that's for sure.
No,
because graphically it looks like it's done right, and I think the integration into your room space is going to be done right. So,
yeah, no,
the in between, you know, the actual game itself, we'll see.
Well, it's funny the way things go. You know, the Walking Dead one was an update, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 total games to talk about coming out in January. You know, we've already talked about 4 of them with Toy Trains, Bulletstorm, Hunt Together, and Demeter. There was that little part of me that, you know, things were a little slow those first weeks of January, and rightfully so, you know, that last week of December, that first week of January, and rightfully so, like you said, if that's not the time to release a game. But I was like, man, 2023 was so loaded with new titles. Can 2024 compare? But here we are, kicking off the year with 6 great titles coming out in, you know, the second half of January, and Townsman VR, an exclusive Quest 3 game, already out. So yeah, I think that we're going to see an even better 2024 than 2023. And another cool one that was announced to be coming out later this month, it's called Crumbling. They haven't said exactly the date it's coming out, only that it's coming out sometime in January, and it's described as a hack and slash roguelite, but I don't know. I mean, it clearly is a roguelite, but I don't know how much hack and slash. You kind of like control action figures, and you can unlock new action figures to take on new runs, you know, typical with roguelite games. There's no end to it per se. You do beat a run, but there's upgrades, new unlockables, yada yada, incentive to rerun it. And with this being
it
new
never
action
ends.
figures. Yeah. with new action figures or ways to style them, it looks like, and you kind of pick up the action figure and swing them around to do combat, it looks like. So maybe that's the hack and slash, but it definitely looks freaking unique. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's one that I'm kind of excited to play.
Yeah, it's got
I'm
potential.
excited to play all of them now.
Yeah.
I don't discriminate when it comes to playing.
And that one's kind of, I love those style of games. Those, again, I'll use the word top down, but maybe not top down. But the overview, grab and move stuff, and this one's unique. I've never seen anything like it. I just wish we had a official release date, but I'm sure we will soon. And then last one, then we can wrap up this baby. I think we went a little long on this one, but we've had fun. It's always a little bit of a different vibe being remote, but
I like it.
Within
like it at all.
Within 5 minutes, I feel like we get back a little bit to ourselves, but it's a little different pacing and such like that. But also coming out January 11th, so this week, another VR platformer called, and excuse me with the name, I might butcher it. It's called Vrosty, VROSTY. It's coming out.
Frosty the Snowman.
Pretty much. It's a snowman platformer. You control the snowman and you gotta what looks like, clear the level. It looks cute. It looks like it's got potential. Can you see this trailer right now? Did I put this on?
Yeah.
Dude, it's silly. I love it.
I had seen the trailer before and I was giggling at the way it looks like you control it.
Dude, yeah, it looks like you grab,
your hand
drag, move up to make him jump, right?
Yeah.
Dude, there's potential here. VR platformers, that's a very untouched market. We see some great examples of it with games like Moss or Mixture, but we also have some great upcoming ones like Vrosty here. And then one of my most hyped upcoming releases, Max Mustard. Can't wait for that one to come out. That's another VR platformer in the works.
I just like saying it, man. Max Mustard.
Somebody commented on the interview with Richie. They said, Max Mustard, everybody's new favorite condiment. I love it. And I'm like, was that a line that you said? That sounds like something you would say, or did they make it up? I couldn't tell.
I don't remember saying that.
That totally sounds like a you line. And if that wasn't you, if whoever commented made that up, freaking hilarious. That was awesome. Max Mustard, everyone's favorite condiment. New favorite condiment.
I might have said condom, but not.
Max Mustard, and I can't wait to... I hope he has a side quest, Mini Mayo.
Mini Mayo?
Mini Mayo. No, there's so much potential with that one too, yeah. But Vrosty coming out this week. I'll definitely check that out. I haven't checked out Townsman VR yet, but that's out now. I'm definitely going to have to. And I'll be honest with you, every single one of these games coming out in this second half of January, Toy Trains, Bulletstorm, Hunt Together, Demeter, Crumbling, and Vrosty, they all look so good. So 2024 off to a great start. We're a week into January. What the hell is going on? This year's going to be intense. So, anything else that you saw throughout the week that we didn't go over yet? You want to go over?
No, I think one of the biggest things during the week was truthfully the Quest 2 holding at $250 forever. Yeah. Unless they go down to $199 down the road, but
the three highlights for me, I'll say the three big ones was the Quest 2 price holding at $250, the Snapdragon XR 2 Plus Gen 2. We can start to work on the naming a little bit too, folks. And then also the third big one, the Praydog PC VR mod.
Yeah, for PC VR, it was their week. I don't think there's been a week like this for
5 VR headsets in the works utilizing that chip.
You know why I'm not out jumping up and down about the chip?
Why?
Because I'm not going
to experience it on the Quest 3.
Yeah. So unless I get one of these 5 headsets, I'm not going to know.
Like I said, Ruff Talk
15%,
VR at gmail.com. Damien at rufftalkvr.com. Brian, BRYAN at Ruff Talk VR to specify. Also DAMIN. I'll send you my address, tell you where you can ship those. Ideally send 2.
Ship them right out.
Ideally send 2. I'm
put
excited
the quad processors in there.
The visor one looks real freaking interesting too. I can see a real use for that. I already know of people that use the visor app. I'm sorry, the Immersed app, quite a bit. So with Immerse coming out with hardware specific for their app, but also other uses, I'm real excited. Looks lightweight. Closest thing to sunglasses I've seen. Also big screen beyond, which is already out. They're a beast. I wish I had PC VR to experience that, but
yeah, that one stings a little.
Dude, 5 VR headsets. I'm curious about that fifth one. My top 2 guesses would be a MetaQuest Pro 2 or Nintendo. But let's see.
What about a Quest 3 Pro?
Oh, well, I'm totally could see them doing a follow-up to the Quest Pro, so let's see. If so, that's the chip to use. It's not a next-gen upgrade with the chip.
Yeah, and it'll just be that justifiable 15% more.
Couple
that
more
makes
trackers.
Sense. I just don't know why they wouldn't just say Meta.
Because maybe they have some exclusivity deal with Meta.
And then if it turns out to be them, if people are going to be like, well, why didn't you just say so? Like, what are you trying to hide it for? Yeah. But I would, I don't know.
Now we can speculate, though. If anybody has any guesses, go drop that boop right in the comments or in our Discord, which is ever so popping. Huge thank you to everybody that listens each week, everybody that partakes in our Discord community.
Discord's a cool place, dude. I say it every week, too.
Yeah. Our Discord mods crush it. We actually saw the CEO of Combat Waffle, Scott. He even popped in. We have quite a bit of developers, other content creators. You know what's
cool about that?
Some news peeps. What's up?
If he does that in his own server, oh my God. I mean, can you get a word in?
I know. There's like our Discord server must look so minor league with, to us it's great, but there's like 60K people in the Ghost
even
of
by
Tabor
like big Discord server standards. His is next level. So it's rare when like I feel he could pop in and get some actually like have a back and forth if he chose.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Versus if you tried, I've tried commenting and so it just if that thing's on fire, dude, it's on fire. You post and you watch your shit take off.
We got him. We got some developer from Battle Bows, Tom.
Yeah, Tom's funny as hell.
We got Mark from Genotype. He's in there quite a bit. Some other content creators like Live Open Mic. Also another podcaster, Samson from Let's Talk Oculus.
Journalist peeps.
We also got some media peeps. Nicholas Sutrich from Android Central. Also Henry Stockdale from Upload VR. I've noticed his name appearing more and more on the articles from Upload VR. I love to see it. He always does a great job, as does Nick. Nick hits some of the more in-depth reviews you'll see.
I've said it so many times. There's so many tech articles I've clicked on, and then I read them, and then I see his name on it, and I'm like, no freaking shit.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's good.
And then just our mod team. Shoes.
My team crushes it.
King Canuck, Amelia.
They're going to package deal themselves and start making deals to other places. We'll run your show for you.
And then, the people that partake in the Discord, just, like NV, Chadwick, they're great people. I could sit here for
Chadwick has me in tears a lot, dude.
Yeah, he's funny.
That is a funny ass human being.
And then, our Patreon members who already gave a shout out, but, Sim, Earth Witness, Jake, Crispy, Shoes, Mike Morbid. Earth Witness is a huge part of the engagement in the chat too. So everybody that's engaging week after week, thank you all so much. Everybody that tunes in.
Wicked welcoming. Everybody's welcoming in there. There's no
wicked positive.
I bet you if you even went in there with a bad attitude, people would try to like coax you to be in a better mood.
No, there's absolutely a kill you with kindness effect.
Or you'll get booted.
That goes on. So, thank you to everybody that tunes in, engages in our community. Stay tuned for another episode later this week with Arizona Sunshine 2. Hopefully it's nice weather next week. We get our award show winners. That's one that rightfully should be done in person though. And also, can't say it enough, VR Gaming Showcase, Friday, February 2nd, our first ever. Thank you to all the developers in the studios that are partaking, deciding to do this with us. They've helped make this a reality. Without them, there would be no showcase. The showcase isn't about me and you. Yep, our sponsors. We've started to announce them. We've got so far Shell Games as the premier sponsor of the event. Then we also have Combat Waffle and Beyond Frames Entertainment Combat Waffle Studios being the developers of Ghost of Tabor, Beyond Frames being one of the best publishers in VR behind all those great titles that we love: Ghost of Tabor, Wands, Mixture, Out of Hand. So many great titles. Shell Games as well, like I said, as our premier sponsor. One of our favorite series in VR. I Expect You to Die 1, 2, and 3. Great little experiences as well, like Lost Recipes. I think that's a game that people might miss.
That was really good, dude.
It's an experience for
that
sure.
Was really, really good.
More games
for
in the
educational
works with them.
and
one of the best roguelites as well with Until You Fall. So to have Shell Games as the premier sponsor, that
felt really good.
Huge. And then we also have Walkabout Mini Golf as a sponsor for the showcase. Need We Say More, one of our favorite games in VR. And if they're sponsoring the showcase, I'm not saying that they're partaking, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
I'm not saying nothing.
I'm not saying anything.
To put a bet line down there.
Same with Combat Waffle, I'm not saying that they're partaking or Shell Games or Beyond Frame, but and then we also got, sponsoring Thomas Van Bowel. He's sponsoring the event, developer of Cubism, one of the most on the ball with update VR games, meaning that the second there's hand tracking available, they had hand tracking. The second that there's, pass through,
right,
they have pass through. And even now, he posted a video showing that for Cubism, if you launch the game from Mixed Reality Home and you go to play it in Mixed Reality, what happens in every other app, you open up the game and it goes to a black screen that shows the game's logo, and then it boots into the menu, which might even be back in Mixed Reality. But there's that splash screen where it loads in, shows the logo, and it's out of Mixed Reality. He's the first one to integrate it. You go to open up his app from Mixed Reality to play in Mixed Reality, and the Cubism logo just shows in your room, and the game opens right there. There is no black loading screen or anything like that. Minor, but that stuff, how quick he is to implement it, that's a testament to how great of a developer he is. And
he's
he also,
OG, man.
Absolutely, working on one of my most hyped Mixed Reality games in the works now too. Laser Dance, a game with a very simple concept: button on the wall, lasers all over your room. Make it across safe to press the button. I haven't played it yet, but just conceptually, so simple, so fun. Can't wait to check that out.
Ding, 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 ding.
And then the last sponsor so far that we have, we also have Impact Reality sponsoring the event, the premier VR, I guess you could say XR, PR
everything
company.
are.
Yeah, PR company in the industry. If you're a studio, you're looking to promote your game, there's a lot of PR companies. There's none that I would recommend more than Impact Reality. Great people. They do great work. Your game's going to get the attention it deserves, and that's not always the case for games. If they don't work with these companies, unfortunately, marketing is its own
I would
skill.
encourage. We say it so much more and more, and now is the time where it's like you need these companies to be on your side, because it's way too much of an undertaking now to build the game, market the game, publish the game, all by yourself. I mean, even a solo dev can use a PR company and have a team behind them that he or she necessarily couldn't afford otherwise. So,
and I'll say this,
no brainer.
We do our best to see every request and every game sent to us and everything like that. But I'll even say from our standpoint, an email from Impact Reality comes in, we're probably going to see, but be a little bit quicker to check out that game than just random discovery.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
So they've
It's
got
not
good
like
reputation.
They pick jank to work with.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing is they vet games too. So it's like you go to them, and I mean, I'll make assumptions. I can't speak for them, but I'll assume you go to them with your game, and if they don't think they can truly help you, they're not just going to sit there and take your money and be like, oh yeah, we'll make you the next Grand Theft Auto.
No, they got to believe in you.
Yeah, exactly. And then those results show, and their list of games they worked with is pretty substantial.
No, so I'm so happy with our sponsors so far for our first VR gaming showcase.
I can't be more thankful.
Friday, February 2nd. Again, that's Shell
Games.
Games.
Be fun.
Shell Games, Combat Waffle Studios, Beyond Frames, Walkabout Mini Golf, Thomas Van Bowel, and Impact Reality. Thank you all so much. And again, thank you so much to the studios and developers that are participating in the showcase. I cannot
may
wait.
or may not be there. Who knows?
I cannot
It's a real
wait
who's to say
to show everybody what we have in store. So stay tuned for that. I can't say it enough. It's going to be great. We have a great show planned for you. So stay tuned. And I think I've rambled enough. So anything else you can think of?
Nah, we covered it.
You
I
peeps
think
are
we're
awesome.
good for the week.
Sweet. You peeps are awesome. All right. Check you all out next time. Ciao, ciao.
Take care.